Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Indigo Diamond here with another video. Here to talk about the last 3 episodes of Drag Race Down Under season 2. Whew. Yeah. We now have a top 4, I think. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure they said they're crowning a winner this week, which means, yeah, both Canada and Down Under will be ending, but I suppose we've still got Secret Celebrity Drag Race going on at the moment. I've not been covering that on here. I'm just thinking because UK starts end of this month, well, like 22nd, so more or less the end of this month. So, yeah, interesting. I suppose, yeah, Celebrity Drag Race will have to keep us going until then. Before we get into the video, make sure you hit the subscribe button, like the video, and tell me down below, who are you rooting for? Who do you want to take home the crown? Now, let's go a few weeks ago, back to Snatch Game, where we had Hannah Conda get her first win as a very hard to understand Liza Minnelli. It was hilarious. She was 100% my winner. I thought she did a fantastic job. Just under her, I think, was Spankie doing Dame Edna. Again, did a really, really good job. It's just Hannah was just that much funnier. Especially doing her rendition of Sissy That Walk. Jesus. Now, we had a few options for bottoms. Molly Poppinz did not do a very good job of Orville Peck. The accent, well, the voice was not Orville. Orville is very, very sexy sounding, and I'm sorry, Molly, that just wasn't it. Apparently now I'm talking, my body's going, you've got a cough, Other bottoms, we had Minnie Cooper doing Ellen DeGeneres, and just really wasn't funny. Like, just kept going, thanks everybody, I'm Ellen, and it's like, yeah, we got that's who you're trying to do. And Beverly Kills, who was apparently trying to do a British person, didn't get the accent. And then I love the fact that at one point she was like, oh yeah, I was panicking. I didn't really know where else I could go with her, so I blacked out some teeth because she's British. And it's like, again, not how that works, but okay. But in the lip sync, Beverly did do a very good job. Definitely deserved to stay, in my opinion. As much as again, like with Fierce, I've not been liking how Bev's been appearing on TV. Now, I say on TV because, you know, I follow her on Twitter, you know, and she seems perfectly lovely on Twitter and stuff like that. And this is Drag Race. You know, Drag Race is a very, very, I mean, I've not done it, but, you know, I can only imagine just how taxing and difficult it is. So we must remember that how someone comes across on Drag Race is not how they are in real life. Also, social media is a very small amount of people's personality anyway. So, you know, I reserve judgment. Like, as much as I may say, oh, I don't like how they're acting, I don't like they're doing this, it does not give anyone an excuse to send hate to people, or send death threats. You know, and at the end of the day, if I meet any of these queens in person, I go in there with a completely open mind of how they're going to act. You know, because Drag Race is this weird entity all in unto itself. You know, it's a competition show, so everyone's really stressed as it is. They probably get very little sleep, and they've got a lot to do. So, you know, chill out. I went on a tangent. Yes, so Beverly deserved to stay. With the song, because I think it was Dance in the Dark by Lady Gaga, you know, Minnie just kind of went a bit more clown in the root of it, so it just didn't really fit, whereas Beverly went a lot more dramatic with it, which really worked for the song, thus the reason she stayed. Next episode was Bosom Buddies, with our top 6, so this was the girl group challenge. So Spankie, Kween, and Hannah were a group, and they were the winners of this challenge. They did really well, and again, that sort of like normal Drag Race thing where there's a clear winner for the girl group challenge it was clearly their group. And then the other group was Beverly, Molly, and Yuri. Now, Beverly did do better in this challenge than she has been doing for the most part, but, you know, her group was still the bottom three. But Bev was safe this week. She at least didn't end up in the bottom. There was a lot of tension in the workroom for this episode. So, between especially Kween and Beverly. Again, Beverly got very defensive, also kind of like really catty about it. And she did, you know, she kept saying to Kween, oh, you know, you always came across as such a maternal person, and now I just don't feel that sort of thing. You know, you've made me feel really uncomfortable. And I was sat there and I was like, Beverly, you're the one that started this. It's like, you know, you're the one that was sat there going, come on, make some choreography up on the spot, do it, come on, do it. And then when they were like, no, you're like, oh, well, clearly you're scared, sort of thing. And it's like, well, you're the one whose voice was shaking, but, you know, whatever. You know, they did bury the hatchet somewhat, but it does come back in the next episode. Yuri and Molly have to lip sync, and unfortunately Yuri does get sent home. But that means we are now down to a top 5. And for this challenge, it is... What is it? Ah, yes. Hometown Honeys. So they had to do essentially like a advert promoting their hometown. Now, Hannah Conda won this. And, you know, before I saw Hannah Conda's, for me, Spankie had won this. Spankie's was really funny. I thought it was hilarious. It was great. It did what it needed to do, but it was so good. And then Hannah came along and was like a mini movie, and honestly, it was probably like the best thing I've seen, like advert wise, on Drag Race. It was amazing. It was so good. So Hannah definitely won. Spankie was a close second. She did do a really good job. It just wasn't as epic as Hannah's. And then the bottom 2 ended up as Kween and Beverly. So yes, the 2 queens that have been kind of like fighting for the last 2 episodes come to a head. And yeah, they did kind of like apologize to each other in this episode, but I don't know, it still seemed like a lot of like underlying tension. Kween had a very nice moment on the main stage where RuPaul was saying about how you know, Kween comes across as being a bit ashamed of who she is, essentially ashamed of being a gay person and things like that. And Kween was mentioning about the fact that just before she came on the show, she had spoken to her dad, and her dad said, are you going to use your last name? And that essentially re-put some of the shame back into her, which is really sad to hear, but unfortunately it is the case. You know, as it's easier for white people, it's still not necessarily easy for white people, you know, especially if they come from a very religious background or this, that or the other. You know, it's still a lot easier for white people to be queer than it is for people of colour to be queer. Now, as a white person, I can't really speak on the subject that much because I'm a white person. You know, I can't really voice their struggles because they're not my struggles. You know, all I can do is sit here and go, you know, as a white person, I mean, for me particularly, it was quite easy for me to come out. There are still things that it's clear aren't fully accepted with me, but it's still easier for me than it would be, say, if I was a person of colour. So it was nice to have that moment between RuPaul and Kween. I thought that was really nice. On a different note, when Kween was stood on the stage, all I could focus on was how big their arms looked. and not in a bad way. Like, I was literally sat there going, I just want to go up and I just want to squeeze your arms. Big arms, very attractive, very attractive. And Kween is very attractive. So, losing train of thought. Yeah, so that was really nice to have that nice moment between the two of them, leading into the lip sync between Kween and Beverly. Let's go to Untucked for a second, because Untucked was heated. The thing is, Bev had asked like a couple of times, like earlier in the episode, you know, like what people feel about her and stuff like that, and then she got very defensive when people were telling her how they felt, sort of thing. And it's like, if you don't want the answers, don't ask the question. And then in Untucked, Hannah kind of brought it up again, and Beverly just kind of like really went and just broke down. She was crying into Molly, and it is one of those things. I get where Hannah was coming from, because what Hannah was saying, I was like, this is how I feel about Beverly in the show. At the same time, in Untucked, I was like, I maybe just would have zipped it at that point and maybe dealt with it next week, if, you know, Beverly was still there, sort of thing. If not, deal with it after the show. You know, she's already going to be feeling rubbish because she was like placing low anyway. Jesus, what is with this cough now? It's not been here like all week, and then like today and yesterday it just seems to have really come back. Such a pain. Yeah, it was a bit like kicking someone while they were down, but I don't think Hannah meant it that way. I really think the way Hannah was talking, it was a case of she was just trying to get Bev to see exactly what she means when she's, you know, saying things. She's like, you know, you just come across as fake. You need to be authentic. And it's like, yeah, you know, Bev sat there going, I am being authentic. And it's like, it doesn't come across that way. That's the problem. It's like the way you act, you sometimes act like two different people. And it makes you feel like it makes it feel like you're not being authentic. But, you know, there is a time and place, and, you know, Hannah did, you know, stop talking very quickly when like Kween and Spankie were like, you know, maybe we should just like stop, which was nice. But yeah, can't have been easy, but it is what it is. Kween and Beverly lip sync, and oh my god, Beverly seemed to get in Queen's way a few times. I don't know whether that was on purpose or whether it was just Bev not looking where she was going. But I'm pretty sure at one point Kween punched her in the face by accident, but it did look like that. And Queen's face did not look impressed. But Kween wins the lip sync and goes on to the last episode, and Beverly Kills has to sashay away. You know, I think Bev's one of those people, you know, like going on to Drag Race, there was a load of challenges where she kept saying, oh, you know, this isn't this isn't what I do, sort of thing. Like, oh, I'm not very good at this sort of thing. And it's like, well, you're going on Drag Race, and you know Drag Race is going to have these sorts of challenges. You know, either you need to go in and be like, yeah, I can do this, or if you know you're going to go on there, you should really like practice these things beforehand. But hey, if there's like a versus the World Series that she ends on or something like that, or maybe an All Stars of some sort in future, you know, maybe she'll be in a better headspace. I mean, you know, she seems to be in a better headspace from Twitter anyway. You know, her and the rest of the Queens seem to be really close, which is nice to see, because, you know, I can imagine doing something like Drag Race and then, you know, not having the support of your sisters afterwards would be very difficult. So, yeah. Out of... I don't know who I want to win. Honestly, I think it's going to be... I think it's either... Because I really like Kween, but I'm not sure if she's quite maybe ready to win yet. I think Hannah and Spankie are like my top two, but honestly, I wouldn't be mad if any of them won. Queen's just seems like such a lovable person, and it also helps that she's very, very attractive. But, you know, she's great at what she does. She's just been in her head quite a bit this season, so we'll see what plays out next episode. You know, she might come in swinging and take the whole thing, but we will see. Leave me a comment down below. Who are you rooting for to take home the crown for Down Under Season 2? While you're down there, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like the video, and I will see you lovely people next time. See ya!